Hey guys, welcome to another Bitcoin Builder video, and in today's video we're going to take a look at waves. Now, similar to the last video I put out where we took a look at Polymath, we have kind of a similar setup going with waves. And so I want to look at this too because anytime we see this, we want to pay close attention. So this chart I'm looking at is waves versus the dollar, and this is a weekly chart, so this stretches all the way back to December 2017. So we've been systematically going down with a few pullbacks here and there. And then we finally, last summer, dropped down way down here. We kind of double bottomed. And then as of March of this year, after everything sold off, we kind of had this giant push up. And we passed this little point here. So this little point of resistance got just blown right through it. And so now the price has been settling back down, and it's above the trend line still, quite a bit of ways above it. And it looks like, according to this chart, and again, this is a weekly chart, it looks like it may, want to go back up from here. And it could just be that it goes up a little bit and then goes back down for a little bit and goes sideways. But this is another one that you might want to keep a close eye on too. One thing that I did look and see that happened recently with waves, they had what they call DeFo, which is decentralized foreign exchange staking. So it's enabled staking for Waves Neutrino stablecoins. So this is kind of interesting because this doesn't, I don't think we have this anywhere else, unless you count, your staking of DAI on Coinbase, but that gives you like 2% or something. With this, you're purportedly able to get up to 15% annual percentage yields through staking these stable coins, which consists of either the dollar, the euro, the yen, the yuan, the ruble, the Ukrainian, I'm not sure how to say that, and the Nigerian naira. And I'm not really so sure about that. I don't even know why they would have that in there, but whatever. And then you can also get up to 20% returns by providing liquidity to the stablecoin pools. So this is something that might be worth keeping in mind, if not now, maybe down the road. The ability to stake a stable coin. The difference being when you're staking your regular coins, you're susceptible to the ups and downs of the markets. And that's something that is not always the best thing to do. Now, I said I would do a video some time ago regarding staking. Now, I haven't done that yet, but I'll just basically say now what my thoughts are on staking since we're talking about it. And that is that I'm not for it at all. So I've staked before. And when I started staking, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But in general, there's several reasons that I don't advocate staking for the average person, not least of which is that you can always make substantially more money by just investing that money into these markets and or trading with a longer term trading plan than you can by staking. So I guess if you had $500,000 or $1 million extra money just sitting around that you had nothing else to do with, then maybe that would be okay. And in that case, maybe something like this would be great versus a stable coin. But my thoughts are for the average person that it's not really the best idea. And there's more reasons I have behind that too. But I'll just leave it there for now. However, that being said, with the ability to do stablecoin staking, I mean, they mentioned down here that, you can do this on Coinbase for DAI, which gives you 2%, or USDC, which gives you 0.15%. Like, are you kidding me? Like, why waste your time? If you're just going to stake and get 0.15%, I mean, that's great if it's in there for a few days while you're shuffling some money around and making plans to do something else, but you're going to really leave your money sitting, on Coinbase for an extended period of time to get 1.5% or 2% APY? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. However, like I said, if you get to the top of the next bull market and you've made a chunk of change, this could be a good option. If you get involved with staking on a stable coin and you're able to get 15%, I mean, that's pretty substantial, especially if you can get an additional 20 by providing liquidity. And you're now in a stable coin. So if the market starts selling off, you're not going to be susceptible to that. So that actually could be something worthwhile. So that's something that we'll all have to keep in mind as things go along. I don't know that I would get involved with this now just because, like I just mentioned, you're going to be able to make substantially more money through the movements of these markets. The returns that you can get here Like we looked at on the last video with Polymath. I showed you how if they just go to their old all-time high, that's like a 3,000% gain. Well, that's a lot better than 15% APY. Waves is not as substantial. I think their old all-time high was like $12 or something, so that's 364%. But nonetheless, this is still a potential coin to grab some gains with, so I wanted to take a quick look at this. So they've got this information that they just put out. It also says down here that they intend to launch Gravity Hub in October, which is a blockchain agnostic protocol addressing the interoperability issue between blockchains, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cosmos, Solana, and Ethereum Classic. And it says that the platform will allow dApps to send a request to other dApps on a different blockchain and transfer tokens using token ports. This is the kind of news that could give us, I mean, it could be what's triggering, some moves right here. But if it's not, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I always look for. When I do my fundamental research, I look for this type of news that might get some interest and help push the coin up. So I'll go ahead and put a link to this article so you can read it. It's pretty short too. Then they also, maybe a week or two ago, released this article. So this is interesting too. It says, why is LPOS better than DPoS? Well, we know that DPoS is delegated proof of stake. So what is LPoS? That is actually least proof of stake. So this article talks about, and I'll put a link down there, it talks about, different types of proof of stake and different types of ways to manage the network. And some of them have their advantages and drawbacks. But it's specifically kind of comparing this LPoS to DPoS because they're kind of the same thing. The main difference being, from what I'm reading in the article, is that with delegated proof of stake, there's a limited number of nodes that can be ran. So for example, they talk about EOS and how EOS can have a maximum of 21 nodes. So anytime you have a smaller number of nodes, you have more of kind of a centralized system. And what they're saying is with their least proof of stake, there's no limit. In reality, there is a limit, but they say it's like 103,000 nodes. And then every day, 8 new block generators can be added. So with just a measly 1,000 waves, you could run a node. Or, you could lease your waves out to somebody, or somebody could lease their waves to you, and you could use those to run the node. And with least proof of stake, similar to delegated proof of stake, you don't have to part with your coins. They can stay in your wallet. And on top of that, there's they're not going to be locked up for a period of time like they would be with regular proof of stake. And that's another reason I'm not a big staking fan. You don't want to be locking your coins up. Now, maybe delegated proof of stake, you don't have to do that. But if you're talking about locking up your coins, and I know that a lot of exchanges you can stake on exchanges and stuff, and they don't make you do that, but that's beside the point. So this is interesting, and I have not looked further at this, so I don't know what the returns are when going with their least proof of stake route, so we'll have to look into that. Otherwise, that's another piece of good news, and this was just released on September 17th. And then again, if we look at Waves versus Bitcoin, we see kind of the same thing. We have this slide down, we have this consolidation, we have a breakout from the consolidation. A solid, clear breakout. Because this is a gold mine. This is exactly what you want to see. I mean, yeah, there are better options out there that you could run into, like if you see a great coin on the very first day and you're able to get it at dirt cheap. But I mean, this is the next best thing. And so if we can break this trend line, potentially this will move up, and potentially some of this news that we just looked at might carry this up another leg higher. That's not to say that it won't hit this level and we'll get a sell-off and it'll kind of bounce around in here for a while. But nonetheless, this looks like a solid breakout above what's down here. And so being that we're kind of starting into the early phases of the next bull market, I would think that this is going to just kind of start going in this general direction. So this is one that I'll be watching closely as well, and I might encourage you to do the same. It could prove to be profitable. Again, it's not, if we're just looking at the old all-time highs, they're not as substantial of gains, 400% on the Bitcoin side, but what if it goes substantially higher from there? I mean, this is Waves, by the way. I mean, they've been around for a long time. They've stood the test of time. And really, I mean, I got to say, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, they have stood their ground. They're ranked somewhere around 50 by market cap. I mean, you look at a lot of the coins that were in a similar boat to Waves 3 years ago, and they have fallen off a cliff and have yet to recover. Waves has been out there, and yeah, they've had a good sell-off, but I mean, they're still like in the top 50 by market cap. That is pretty substantial. So I'll be keeping a close eye on this one. I encourage you to do the same. If you have any comments on Waves, go ahead and leave them in the comments section, and make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good stuff too. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.